Robot brothels high. It's Emma here. My friend Don recently visited the first robot brothel to open legally in Perth. I'll be reading his findings as follows. I woke early that morning, filled with excitement and intrigue. I had heard about robot brothels appearing on the scene in Europe, and I have to admit the thought of robots giving a sexual experience caught my attention. It's no secret that I've been to several brothels over the years, sometimes for casual sex, and other times for a massage or for some company. I'm quite knowledgeable about the comings and goings of such establishments. The brothels in Perth are monitored by the Vice Squad, which makes them confronting and stressful. Just for a bit of fun, the police occasionally raid a brothel just to see if they recognise anyone. This information might come in handy at a later date. Some of my previous bad brothel visits were running through my mind as a reminder of how unpleasant the experience can be if things don't go to plan. Not that a visit to a brothel is ever accompanied by a well-thought-out plan. The lady running the place greets you at the door and waves you inside like a spider coaxing a fly into its lair. Usually, money is paid first and foremost, just so you don't go getting any ideas that the girls inside are there for your pleasure. I pulled into the parking lot of Perth's first legal robot brothel, which was empty of any cars. An ageing house with a permanent lean, blown over by winds over the years, stood next to a car wash that appeared to be busy, but the strange thing was that there weren't any cars being washed. I could see people's feet under giant brushes that were whirling around, splashing soap and water in all directions. No cars, just bare feet were all I could make out. I locked up my car, then walked toward the house. I got that familiar butterfly feeling I get every time I visit a brothel. Throwing caution to the wind, never knowing when the cops might slime out from under a rock, I read a message attached to the door written on a metal plaque. Please place your driver's license into the slot in the door. It will be returned upon completion of our contract. Please enter and enjoy your stay. I did as instructed. The door clicked, unlocking it, and then it slowly opened, exposing a luxurious waiting room. The floor had a plush red carpet with French lounges and coffee tables throughout the room. A well-polished cedar desk was where I found instructions on how the place operated. Welcome to the Robotech Relief Centre. As with any establishment of this kind, there are rules to be followed. If you adhere to these rules, your experience with our female robots will be an adventure, and you'll be welcomed back as often as you like. However, if you break any of our rules, your visit could become costly, and you may take your future urges back with you to the cave you crawled from. Please place your car keys and credit card into the slot provided to your left. They will be returned to you on your departure, along with your driver's license. Remember this warning. If you damage any of our models, consider that model purchased by you. Your credit card will be debited $10,000 for a replacement. If you do not have sufficient funds, then your car will be impounded for 30 days. At that time, if you haven't paid the amount required, your car will be sold by us. If you cause any problems while visiting our establishment, a video of you will be uploaded onto the internet for all your friends and family to view what you get up to during the day. The bottom line is that you have a choice. Choose well and have a nice stay. $200 has been debited from your credit card. The transaction will be billed under the name RRC Entertainment. Please enter the entertainment center through the door on your right. The door automatically clicked and opened invitingly. What was I going to do? I felt like leaving, but curiosity was leading me towards the open door and an unknown entertainment session. When I finally worked up the courage to go through the door, I found myself in a brightly lit room with one wall covered with pictures of anatomical body parts. The instructions were for you to choose the makeup of your robot. I found this interesting as I've never built a woman before. I picked her height to be 5'5", with brown eyes, long black hair, an Asian face, a shy personality, and a friendly nature. When I went to press the continue button, a notice appeared prompting me to choose a breast and vagina size. I chose small for both, then moved towards a table that had a window where you could watch the assembly of your robot. I was instructed to go to room 3 and wait for my robot to arrive. I walked down a hall and located the room. Entering cautiously, peering around the door, I walked into the room and closed the door. I was quite surprised to hear Chinese music playing softly through speakers hidden in the walls. A door in the wall slid open, and out walked my robot, completely assembled and dressed in an Oriental style. "Hello, my name is Sue Lee. I have come to entertain you for 1/2 hour or 1 hour. Which will it be?" "I think I paid for an hour," I said, bowing slightly. "Outside, they said they took $200 from me." "That will be for half an hour," she replied quite sweetly. "I'm not paying $200 for half an hour," I replied sharply, forgetting for a moment where I was standing. "Are you going to cause trouble?" "I can cancel this session, but there are no refunds for changing your mind." I had to think fast. After all, they had my car keys and cards. And I wasn't going to throw $200 away without having sex. "No, don't cancel. This is my first time, so half an hour will have to do." "I am glad you have chosen so wisely," she said, slowly walking toward me. "Let's have a hug." She placed her arms around my neck, pulling herself closer so that our bodies rubbed together. I was instantly aroused. The smell of her perfume calmed me down. "Hey, this could turn out to be all right," I thought. Then something pricked my neck ever so slightly. I hardly noticed it at first, but when she brought her hands down from my neck, I noticed a small cloth in her right hand with a red dot on it that looked like blood. She swiftly put it into her pocket. I didn't have time to have a good look at it. "Please go and have a shower." She smiled shyly, pointing over my shoulder. She really was quite sweet, so I looked over at a door with the word shower written on it. I left my clothes lying on the chair in the room and walked into the shower. I was instantly whisked away on a conveyor under my feet, which took me into the car wash building next to the brothel, or should I call it the entertainment centre? The room I was taken to was filled with giant brushes whirling around, throwing soap and water onto everything they came into contact with. When the ride on the conveyor ended, I slipped on the soapy floor, falling hard onto my naked posterior rectus. I saw naked feet just a metre away from me, but when I managed to find my feet again, there was no sign of anyone else in the room. I stepped back onto the conveyor and was taken back to room 3. When I re-entered the room, I found Sue Lee lying on the bed in a seductive white t-shirt. Chinese music continued to create a perfect atmosphere. I crawled across the bed to lie next to her. "You know how some music can bring back memories? Well, the smell of marijuana has the same effect on me." She pulled out a lit joint like magic and took a drag from it, then handed it to me. I only had 2 small drags, but was instantly taken back to my days living in China. We talked for what seemed an hour when she came up close and kissed me on the lips. I had never kissed rubber before. Then my tongue recognized the distinct taste of bubblegum and immediately reported it to my taste buds. I reached over and kissed her neck, and instantly the thought of bubblegum registered once again. I began finding more bubblegum flavour everywhere I kissed her body. Never once did she respond to what I was doing. She just lay there counting the stars that were painted across the ceiling. I was about to explore one of her breasts, hoping it might have a different flavour, when the door to the room burst open and a male robot walked hurriedly into the room. "Sue Lee," he said authoritatively. "You are finished here. Return to your station." She was making toward the edge of the bed when I said, "I've got 15 more minutes." "I'm sorry," said the robot, issuing a slight head bow. "Your blood test has come back positive. You have to leave and check in with your GP." "Blood test?" I didn't give anybody a sample of my blood. Then, through my marijuana haze, I vaguely remembered a sharp prick on my neck earlier. It's come back positive, the robot insisted. You must leave at once. I must admit that he had me stumped as to what he was talking about. If it's positive, then that should be all right, I said, taking another drag of the cigarette. Sue Lee calmly reached into the trash bin next to the bed and pulled out a spent condom, holding it up high so that I could examine it for myself. You have had a happy ending, she said, and your time is finished. Thank you for coming here today. Please come back once you have spoken to your GP. A copy of your blood test will be forwarded to your doctor. I was up and dressed in a flash. The male robot suggested I leave by the back door. He asked me to follow him, so I did just that. During the long walk to the back door, I tried reflecting on the used condoms Sue Lee had produced from the bin. I couldn't remember using one, let alone having sex. I blamed the blank space on the marijuana. At the back door, I was given my driver's license, credit card, and car keys. The door lock clicked into place as soon as I was outside the building. I could have just landed on another planet for all I knew. As I had entered by the front door, where I was now, was something of a challenge. Suddenly, I remembered that a few weeks earlier, my tech-savvy friend had downloaded an app that helps you find your car. I had never used it up until now. I opened the app and entered my location, then pushed the activate button. I have no idea how I got home, but when I woke the next morning, I found this story on my laptop. You may ask me if I would ever go back to a robot brothel, and after some lengthy deliberation, I must say that I would. If for nothing else, to see if I had a happy ending on my first visit.